you had a previous movie. I have watched it several times. Now the Coffee Heroes, but I didn't watch it yet. I'm waiting for this weekend. We bought it for Turkish coffee community. They will watch it also. But tell us, how did it happen? What did you do there? How difficult it is?
Sure.
Yeah, the story of the film, please.
Absolutely. But first of all, it's my pleasure talking to you. And thank you for the invitation. It is my absolute pleasure that people in Turkey are going to be able to watch a movie. I'm so grateful. Despite all of the times and everything that's happening in the world, somehow in World of Coffee, we find a way to, still stay connected. I really admire about everything that you guys are doing for your community. And I'm so happy to be part of the community as well.
Thank you.
In regards to the movie, it's a funny story. It's another funny story because when you obviously mentioned that you watched the very first movie, The Coffee Man.
Mm-hmm.
So that first movie was not supposed to be about the coffee man himself, right? It was supposed to be about the movie director wanted to follow me on the coffee trips where I travel, where I buy a lot of coffees. And they wanted to record what happens in the coffee producing countries. And I was kind of supposed to be just showing them the part, what happens there. So movie was not about me. But then when I mentioned to them that I also do barista competitions, they started engaging with that side of myself. They followed me in Australian barista competition. I won. And then they decided to fly with me to Seattle. And I remember when they were saying when I got sick in the semifinals, they were probably two happiest people because they said, oh, this is really good for the movie. He's sick, it's going to be so cool. And I'm there fighting for my life. And these guys are, getting some really cool footage for them. But, that's their job, I guess. I can't blame them. So that's, and on the fly back, when we won WBC, they said, the movie is going to be about you and your success. So we had a beautiful time with the movie, like lifetime memories. I feel we inspired a lot of people. We showed a lot of stories. And then 12 months later, I said to Jeff again, I said, hey, it's time for us to make that movie again. But this time we're going to make movies about farmers, like we intended originally. And he goes, yep, great. So we fly to Ethiopia, we fly to different countries, we go everywhere. There's competitions, of course, and I'm not competing anymore, but I started coaching. And up until Amsterdam, final day when Aga won, Jeff did not know what movie is going to be about. He was recording all of that footage in a lot of different countries, like he was in Brazil with us, he was in Amsterdam, he was in Ethiopia, Colombia, so many countries. But then I remember when Aga won, and I was standing with Hidenori Izaki as well.
Hidenori.
And Jeff. And so Hide asked both of us, so boys, what's movie going to be about? And I looked at Jeff, and Jeff looked at me, and I said, well, it's going to be about Aga. It's going to be about myself now coaching someone to chase their dream. And there's nothing better than have a first female world barista champion, and that we can show the world how this all happened. So we start the movie with one thing in mind and we complete the movie with something else, which I think it's a beauty about it because Jeff has been following me for 2 years, flying with me, following my work. There's lots of ups and downs in the movie. Everyone thinks it's beautiful when you win World Barista Championships. It's all easy, but I think this movie shows a little bit of vulnerability as well, that it is not easy to be on top, and it is hard. It's very hard demanding, and, family suffers and everything else. And I think he captured that very well. But he also captured, something really good it's, when you have a great attitude, even though you can be on the other side of the world, like, Aga and myself, she's in Poland, I'm in Australia. Somehow we can connect and we can achieve greatness. And that's what she has done. I found second movie more inspiring and than the first one, but I'm also looking forward to sharing with all of you in the community. And I'd love to get some maybe messages to see, if you liked it or if you didn't like it. We definitely would love some feedback.
I can tell it immediately. I watch it. I can tell it. But at the first movie, I was so excited. I felt what you feel over there. How you excited? How you sick? How is your family doing? How did they help you and their ups and downs? It was great for me. It means that it shows that how difficult situation to get ready for this championship. It's not that easy. You're working a lot for that to get the champion.
Absolutely.
Kaan, please go on. You have got some questions.
First, I'd like to ask you if, please, for the next movie, please try not to win or be a world champion or coach a world champion, so we can actually see what's going on in the far from your eyes.
Yes, I promise.
I don't know if this will happen, but I want to ask you if it's hard for you to work and train when somebody's filming you and making a movie of you. Did it have any effect on you, or were you concentrated really hard so you didn't even see them, feel them around you? Were there any effects of people filming?
No, it's a great question. To be honest, Jeff, director of the movie, he's a great friend of mine. And I think that helps a lot, because when I talk to him, I just talk to my friends, and I talk to him about, what I really feel and what I think, without really thinking that there'll be thousands and thousands and thousands of people listening to this. Because if I put that in my mind, then I'm probably going to start sweating, and I'm probably not going to talk the way I talk. And stress. So he makes it really easy, and he makes it super easy that he just wants me to be me. And he finds me very interesting, and of course I find his character really interesting as well. And sometimes when we do interview, I do say quite a few silly things as well. But he learned how to work with me. So there's no, there's not really anything that I do special. Like he's very good in asking questions, and he asks the questions that I usually provide him the answer, not from my head, but from what I really feel. And somehow he kind of gets this depth out of me that other people cannot. I can have normal conversation, but with Jeff, I always have very meaningful conversation. And many times when we finish an interview, I kind of ask myself, oh, wow, I actually do this, do I? When he asked me a question, when you go on a world barista stage, like what's the most important thing you need to have? Like it's a super difficult question.
Yeah,
and sometimes like I need an hour to think about it, because I really need to kind of dig really deep. But then when I watch myself on the footage on camera, oh, wow, that was good. Yeah, I said that. Wow, that was awesome. So it's been a great process. It's been a great process to, for me to understand more about me, to be honest. It's also been great journey to see the first movie and now to see the second movie, to see how I've actually changed as well. So yeah, I'm very thankful to him, what he's done for us, because it's going to stay with us forever. And I feel that I have received
inspiration for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I received a lot of feedback from a lot of baristas, a lot of people in the community. Hey, that was inspiring. Now when I compete or now when I do this, I'm actually inspired to be in the industry. So we're super happy, we're super pleased.
Yeah. So let me ask you one more thing about it's actually about differences between the two of the movies you made. Is it harder to compete yourself, or is it harder to coach someone who competes?
Awesome question. So when I competed, that's all I knew, that's all I did, that's all I wanted to do, to pour the best possible coffees I can and to be best competitor I possibly can be. But when I moved from competing to coaching, it's completely different. And to be honest, I was lost for quite a few years. What's the role of the coach? because I had all of this knowledge, you know, in the coffee, from a farm to, you know, brewing and roasting and everything. But as a coach, I was definitely not coaching people in the right direction. I was telling them what they need to do because that's what I believed what they should do. And I've learned that in Dublin when I coached Hugh Kelly in Dublin. I think it's featured in the movie. It definitely is. It's featured in the movie. And I kind of wanted him to be a mini version of myself. And that's not a good approach. The best approach is, as a coach, to really dig deep into someone else's vision, in their values, in their personalities, and to kind of be able to dig deeper even in themselves than what they can do themselves. And to kind of give them a confidence and to follow them in their journey and to follow their paths and to show them possibly where they want to go, but not necessarily to tell them where they want to go, because only they can make decisions of, you know, what sort of baristas they want to be. You know, and if we ask ourselves a simple question, why do we like coffee? All three of us are going to be able to provide a very different answer. So, and my answer is going to be different than anyone else's answer, because no one can be like me, and I cannot be like anyone else as good as well. So the role of the coach is to actually be able to help that individual to be best version of themselves rather than being like someone else. And it took me a while to get it. And once I got it, I really now enjoy being a coach more than being a competitor, because I feel I can help a lot more people to be the best version of themselves. And it's really rewarding. Like, it's great when you go and lift up the trophies for yourself. It's unbelievable feeling. But trust me, you know, when you help someone else to become number one in the world, to achieve their dreams. You know, over the weekend, I've just coached Hugh Kelly to win Australian Barista Championships for the third time, only 4 days ago. And that feeling is priceless. And the best way, obviously, to do it is when you really know that you've kind of helped them to pave their own road in the best possible way.
That sounds like a spiritual leadership or something like that. It's you know, it seems really hard, you know. I can see. So you like coaching more, but you say that it's harder actually. What one tip would you give to the future competitors, according to your experiences to this day? If you had to say, let's say, if you had only 3 tips to give, do you have any quick tips like that? 3 really important.
Absolutely, especially for the new competitors, like someone that has not ever competed before. Start today. Don't wait for next year, or don't wait for a year after. If you're thinking of competing, sign up today, and it's okay. You're not going to be perfect year 1. No one expects you to be perfect. But year 1 or year 2, year 3, it's about learning. It's about networking. It's about understanding. It's about discovering how bad you are, in a way. And in the same time, once you know where you're at, and when you build that beautiful network of competitors in your country or throughout the world, you know, be yourself, because when you are yourself, you will align yourself with the people that are like-minded like you. And then together, you know, you can continue learning and progressing with this group of people to, you know, to achieve greatness. I was talking to one of my junior baristas that works in one of the cafes, and I told him, hey, you should start competing. And he told me, you know what, I'm not good enough. I said, that's exactly why you should start competing. It's not about winning. It's about you putting yourself out there, do what you love, do something that's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be confused. You're going to feel a fear, but all of these things are great, because being confused, having a fear, being uncomfortable, they are all the signs that you're learning a lot. And then when you turn back 6 months later, you know, after you compete, I said, wow, I've learned a lot. And then you go again next year and next year. Only 3 or 4 years later, you start sort of thinking, I would love to win, or maybe I have this great idea to share with everyone, but that takes time. A lot of people think success, that's above the iceberg. Oh, Sasha won easy, Aga won easy, Hidenori Izaki won easy. But once you talk to these people, once you see how difficult it was, we all have the same start. We start competing because we just want to learn. But start today. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Good advice.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah.
Do you think these things come, your past, your sports past, affect your coffee competitor or coach part right now? Do you think it is?
Absolutely. You know what? I love competition.
We know that.
Whether we're gonna be on the resort on a holiday and there's a table tennis table, I wanna play table tennis so I can win. Whether we play, casual soccer with the team in a car park, yeah, I'd love to win. Anything we wanna do, we wanna win. And I think what's been great for me to play elite sport, play Olympic Games, play World Championships is to respect competition, to respect opponents. Even though we want to win, we don't want to be stabbing over other people. We crazy professional, we want to win, but we also want to respect the competition, respect the environment, respect everything, and do it in a professional way. Like on the weekend with my family, because it's my dad's 70th birthday. So my brother came over and my daughter was there, my brother's daughter. So we had this internal Sestic Olympics that we call it. So we had our lifting championships where my daughter is competing against my brother's daughter. I was competing against my brother. And we were, competing who can lift more. So I think you'll probably be able to see on my Instagram few funny videos in the next few weeks about comp. But that's what we do as a family. They're the best moments that we normally have when we put ourselves in that environment where we compete, we celebrate, we have fun, we enjoy it.
It's near DNA, we can say.
It never gets too old. Like I'm 42 years old now, and I still have that crazy competitive spirit. So
that's a part of your personality, I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
I want to ask you about your experiences in the farm level, because you're a highly experienced coffee professional about that, and I know that you're a fan of new processing techniques and fermentation techniques. You introduced the carbonic maceration to the world, and what do you think we should expect with those new processing techniques? Personally, I'm starting to see at the local coffee shops that those experimental techniques right now. And what do you think we should expect? Are there any new techniques that will emerge, or do you think is it going to stop somewhere right here? So we should draw the line. What's your thoughts about?
Absolutely, it's a great question. So I feel that in 2015 we've opened this Pandora box, something new, something exciting, and everyone goes, "Wow, this is so cool! Let's do it." Which I'm so grateful and so nice to see that the world has accepted that coffee fermentation can influence the coffee a lot, and so many other great coffee professionals and the farmers have started doing their own ways of doing either anaerobics or CMs or whatever it is. And I feel it's not stopping. It's just going to get stronger and better and greater. There's so much more we can learn and discover. One thing that I'm a little bit skeptical and it's making me a little bit uncomfortable is the rules of fermentation. Because unfortunately, I've seen some people putting the additives in fermentation in order to mask the flavors. I've seen some farmers spraying the coffee with a certain flavoring so coffee can taste better. And for me, that's that's scary, because when you open up the Pandora box, you know, it can be exciting, but it can be scary as well. Yeah. And it's in all of our hands to do what's right by the coffee, because we don't want to be drinking bottle of wine with, 40 milliliters of mint syrup or whatever. That's not wine anymore. Or syrup of rose. And because our industry is so young, and I feel like we all like teenagers in the specialty world of coffee, and teenagers do silly things, and maybe in 20 years they regret, oh God, maybe I should not do that. So I think it's super, super important that we work together and we actually respect the coffee for coffee being good, the coffee, because when we taste coffee, we want to taste terroir, we want to taste soil, we want to taste country, we want to taste varietal, and we want to taste process. We don't want to be tasting new flavors. And so when it comes to processing, for me, that's the most scariest thing, that we just continue respecting the coffee, and we continue understanding the yeast activities, we understanding the fungus activities, we understanding the bacteria. We have invented another new non-Saccharomyces yeast that we have introduced last weekend in Australian Barista competition. And as a company, we're going to continue pushing the boundaries, continue working with microbiologists, with universities. But if I can urge all of you or all of us coffee professionals, whatever we do, let's just respect the coffee behind. It's a very, very important, because the actions we make today are going to leave it for next generations. And I guess what we need to do, we need to leave it in a lot better place than we found it, in a lot more healthier place. So it's better for everyone. That's my little spiel on fermentation.
So I want to ask you about actually this. I had two questions in mind, but they're really related to each other. It's about climate crisis and the sustainability. You're traveling to farms, and how does the climate crisis affect these farmers and producers in the producing countries, and how can sustainability, the advantages of implementing sustainability in our processes could improve this situation? What's your thought about this?
Yeah, great question. So when it comes down to climate changes, we all talk about it. We know it's happening. Maybe on a practical level, how is this affecting producers? In my experience, as you might know, with the Project Origin, we work with a couple hundred farms. I own 3 coffee farms in Central America as well. And one farm is low altitude farm, one farm is medium altitude, one farm is like super high altitude. So, and I've done it more to have a really, really deep understanding how everything is impacted, including climate change. So we definitely found on our low altitude farm, which is only 1,000 meters in Nicaragua, we found that maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we did not need to use fertilizers against the broca and the leaf rust as much or as often. But now, in order for this farm to continue growing, that's required to be done at least 3 times a year. So the cost of production is going up dramatically. And so the big question is, are farmers, there are technologies out there that we can use good fertilizers that are organic, that are going to look after the soil, they're not going to damage the environment, but of course they cost more money, and that's the practice that we do. And if there is money, farmers can beat that, and they can not necessarily beat the climate, but they have a technology and know how to live with it and how to continuously keep producing good quality coffee. But the problems we have is where, when coffee buyers come to these countries, they don't really want to pay more money for these coffees. And the cost of the price has gone like 3 or 4 times. And 80% of the coffee that we buy worldwide, I say we globally, not necessarily us, but and they come from a New York Coffee Exchange prices, and they're very low. They are way below production. So that's the main issue. And also the big change that don't necessarily need to buy 85, 6, 7, 8-point coffees. They're okay to buy 80-point coffee. And when you're buying 78 to 80-point coffees, that's commodity, which is a C market. And C market is, in most of the cases, below cost. So I guess in order to move forward and to fight that climate changes, we actually need to show the awareness that we should be paying more for coffees, and give enough, income for these farmers to actually be able to manage their farms better. And I talk this from the experience, because when we bought a farm in Nicaragua, it's a 40-hectare farm. It was struggling. 80% of the cherries were just green. They could not even ripen. Really sick farm, really tired farm, and total production was like 20, 30 bags of coffee, as opposed to, one container of coffee, because farm was so devastated. And it took a lot of care, a lot of love, a lot of nurturing in order to change that. But we could change that because we knew that there's a customer in Australia, there's a customer in Japan that would love to buy these coffees. But there's so many other farmers that don't have that sort of access to customers, and that's the difficult thing. But sustainability, it's super important. Like in Ona Coffee, we are now running a campaign that we would prefer to give up the takeaway cups. We call this campaign "Give Up the Cup," which means we're doing anything we can not to be serving paper cups in the future. Our roastery now is running on a solar 100%. We have 500 panels in the roastery. And we, as a company, we have a goal that we want to, at least once every 12 months, we want to do something that will improve or give a better impact environmentally for our city, for example. We're ordering the new afterburner that has 20 times less emissions than the normal afterburners, and etc. On the farm level, I feel that, even working with the cascara or doing the fermentation without water is a great step. Like we've done it with carbonic maceration many times. Aga's coffee, WBC coffee that she won, that was fermented without any water, Ethiopian coffee. And majority of Ethiopian coffees traditionally are fermented with a lot of water, which is a lot of waste. So that can be improved by, even though when we're fermenting the coffees and we have all of this liquid that can potentially be turned into fermented and distilled, and that can be turned into alcohol, that can be used as a hand sanitizer for the farmers.
Oh, yeah.
So there's so many ways that we can actually do that. We can think to make these farms more sustainable. But as I mentioned with the barista competitions, we need to start with something. And on our farm in Nicaragua, hopefully when the world is reconnected again, we have made a beautiful guest house for people to come, because we love entire world to come and see what we have been doing there for the last 5 years, because we feel like that this can be inspiring for anyone in the community or anyone throughout the world. What can farm look like, where everyone is included. People that are picking the coffees, they're not considered as a labor, they are considered as a part of the society. They have a great accommodation. We listen to them, they listen to us, we collaborate. They're well paid, they're well educated, they're well fed, and there's a future for them as well. And El Arbol in Nicaragua, you can look us up, or someone can come, get in touch with me or my PO team. And once world is open, we'd be more than happy to, welcome to you to our what we feel is the future of coffee farming.
Wow. So you said that once the world is reconnected, how did the COVID-19 pandemic affect the working style of Ona Coffee and Project Origin? Probably you are not able to fly to visit Origin and your farms, also your green buyers, probably they're not able to fly there. So how are you selecting and controlling your buying processes right now?
Yeah, good one. So normally we would have about 4 of us traveling throughout the world, and out of 4 of us, I think between four of us, we would be overseas about 400 days per year. So like someone is outside. Like my average was about 150 to 180 days outside of Australia. And there's other two employees, they've been doing at least 100 days plus. And I think when COVID came, of course we all panicked. Each one of us have panicked.
Sure.
But then we have been, number one, very, very lucky and grateful to live in Australia. We feel that we didn't have as many cases, unfortunately, have happened in Europe or the other places. And this obviously, even though it hit us really hard at the beginning, with the support from government and also not having as many cases, it allowed us to start thinking about innovations, and also made sure that we can start thinking of our farmers, number one, because our farmers were panicking. So we made sure that, we're going to buy all of their coffees. We're not going to cancel the contracts. We also wanted to make sure we look after our roasters that are buying coffees from us. So we said that, 2020, it's about us thriving together. We came up with this phrase, we thrive together. So we were selling our coffees at no profit for roasters, because let's just get coffee out so we can all survive. And that created a beautiful environment where it just brought us all a lot closer. And it brought us a lot closer with our farmers. And in the past, we would need to go to the farms and check, hey, this is not red picking. We said it was supposed to be red, or you haven't done this right, you haven't done that right. Sometimes they're a little bit, they're great, but sometimes they just don't, they obviously don't care about taste as much as we do. So they say, it's not important, it's fine. But because they saw that we are helping them and they saw our gratitude, all they can do in return is, I'm going to follow the recipes. So whatever Sasha tells me, or Habib or Anita tells me, I'll make sure I'll do it. And so we continued with innovations. We've actually added 2 new countries in 2020. We started a few new projects with different species, not only Arabica, but a few different species. In a way, maybe we kind of thinking this is a little bit easier, because in normal year we spend about 60 days in the aeroplanes between 3 of us. And literally, yes. To spend 60 days in aeroplane in the air. I always sleep in aeroplane. I don't know why. As soon as I jump in airplane, I sleep. So it's wasted 60 days of just sleeping there, doing nothing, as opposed to having a Zoom meetings, being productive, being connected with the people. I still see what they're doing. They put their phone on their face, and I can actually see how they're moving on a farm. And pick this, do that, and that way we continue talking. And I felt that we learned to be a lot more productive. And kind of be a bit more professional as well than what we possibly have been. So it has been, from that point of view, from business and from connection, from innovations, experiments, I feel it's been a lot of positives. Because we made the friendships over the years. Like some of these people, we've been working together for 5, 6, 10 years. They come to my place, I come to their house. So, when you have such a strong relationship, and when you have this little, maybe I call it little wind, it's okay. It's not going to blow us off. We're super strong together. And it was, in a way, in some cases, testament or test for our relationships. And it made us a lot closer than what we had been before. On the other hand, yes, I'm looking forward going back to the farms.
You missed them, right?
Because you know what? I love coffee for taste, but more than anything, I love coffee for people, for being connected, staying close. That's why I do what I do. This is what gives me bigger joy, when I'm there together with them and we're creating something amazing. And then more importantly, we can share this, these moments together. Yeah. But we'll be patient, another 5-6 months, hopefully, and and early next year we can get back into it.
So I want to ask you one last question before we wrap this up. This is something personal. What kind of coffee does Sasa Sestic prefer in his daily life? What's your first cup of joy in the morning? And I have another question that's also connected to this one. What coffee variety and origin would you choose if I asked you to pick one?
Okay. Now, with the second question, is it for espresso, filter, or milk?
It seems like you're a more espresso-oriented man. So,
Okay. All right. So, in the morning, my routine is filter coffee, definitely. So love it. No particular coffee origin. Sometimes I might be into washed coffees, and I just go super deep in them, and then I try naturals or carbonic, and I'm deep in that. So there's no preference.
yeah.
But always filter in the morning during the lunch. I love to have 1 or 2 amazing espressos. And then I finish the night with a filter coffee. My wife and myself, we do drink a lot of coffee nighttime. Kids go to bed 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then we have 2 coffees and we just enjoy it. I think I annoy her sometimes because I always experiment. So I might make 2 same coffee with little bit different technique, and I ask her, hey, can you compare which one you like better? But that's part of our, eating ritual. But coffee that I love at the moment, it's gonna be hands down Eugene Oris. It's a different species. It's not Arabica. It's from Colombia. I was lucky enough to be working with that species for the last couple of years, supporting Hugh Kelly to win Australian Barista Comp. And I had one of the best coffees of my life on the weekend. So
really,
that coffee is still bad. So
hearing this from you is something huge,
Yeah,
something huge. Was definitely an emotional moment. But when you say the espresso, yeah, I think when I drink espresso, it's when you taste this amazing espresso, it brings emotions. It brings just like this joy, and I never got that with the filter up until now. I keep trying to kind of drink this most amazing filter, and then to kind of hit me here. But I'm working on it, so I'll get there.
So just one more last thing, a quick question. Yeah. What do you think about Turkish coffee, Cezve coffee?
That's what I was asking.
Good one. You know what? I grew up with Turkish coffee in Bosnia. My grandma, I still have God, I wish I'm in my office, I would have shown you. So my grandma has a small like metal roaster that you put on a spitfire and you roast your own coffee.
Okay.
So that one is about 60, 70 years old. Somehow throughout the customs, I smuggled it through Australia, which is really cool. It's in my office. But my other grandma always loved freshly grounded Turkish coffee. So for me, as a kid, when I used to go out to play with my friends, I had to get her own hand mill and hand grind the coffee. so I can go out and play with the friends. So I grew up with
duty.
Yeah, he was like, come on, I got it super fast. And unfortunately, that mill was not really good. So it takes me like 10 minutes. It gets super hot as well. But that's the ritual in a family. So my mom drinks Turkish coffee. My wife also. I love the smell. I love the traditional aspect. I don't drink it much, but I appreciate the kind of legacy of Turkish coffee and tradition. And I obviously support it a lot.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have been with us. So
thank you for your time.
I think that we're going to see you maybe in Taiwan.
Maybe
hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah, we are expecting. So thank you very much, Sasha. What can I say more?
Much. Yeah, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And stay safe.
For us too.
To say hi to your family, and if you see Janina, say hi to her from me.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Stay in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.